What's up, guys? Fens the Spook back at you after a little hiatus there. Sorry I didn't get at you in the month of November. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. But here we are in December. Just went to Daytona Beach Convention. Daytona Beach Comic Con, that is. Cool little place. Never been there before. I've been to Daytona, but I've never been to the convention before. It's pretty large. About twice the size of the one in DeLand, which I'll be going to in January, so I'll bring some stuff back from that DeLand. That's in Florida, if you don't know. And it's about twice or maybe 3 times the size of the one that was in Jacksonville that I went to, that I did a video on. It's nowhere near as big as those mega conventions like Tampa or Orlando or anything, but, it was still pretty awesome, I got some good stuff. I saw a lot of cool dealers, met a couple new guys that were pretty cool. So I figured I'd do a video. Sorry, again, that I haven't been doing things. It really sucks. I went to a convention in October in Jacksonville, another one, and I meant to do videos for you guys and show you all the stuff I bought, and then eventually time passed, and I didn't, and I ended up putting it away in my, the long boxes, and now I can't even remember what it was I bought. So that stuff's lost. It's gone. Maybe, I'll one day somehow dig out the stuff that I bought, although I can't even remember what it was now. But anyway, here we are. This is the stuff from the Daytona Con. There was a couple different dealers. I'll try to feature their stuff together so I can kind of, put a link in the description for them if you're interested in contacting them. I'm not going to put anybody's phone numbers, but, they're all in the Florida convention scene, so you'll see them around if you can get that way. This might be a 2-part video because I got a lot of stuff. I don't know if I'll be able to get to it all, and I've already probably rambled for 5 minutes here. So let's just get into it, see what happens, see how many videos we get, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to start with the stack on the right here. I'm going to go ahead and start with the highlights. I'm going to give you the juicy stuff right off the bat because I trust you. You wouldn't leave me hanging. You won't dine and dash on me, I'm sure. So on the right side here, we got a Captain Marvel Adventures, which I believe is the second series of stuff Shazam was in, or Captain Marvel was in. It's not the original publication run, I don't think. But it's from the 50s. It's some Atomic Age. I just liked it because it says Petrophile on the cover. I actually also have like a small rock and mineral collection, so I thought it was kind of cool that Shazam here is, becoming interested in the same thing, like a fellow nerd. I'm always interested in the old Captain Marvels. Him and Superman, kind of, the two I focused here, are definitely my 2 favorite DC icon guys. I'm not a Batman guy at all. Not into really Aquaman. I'm into some of the other guys, but mostly Superman, Shazam. So it's only the second Golden Age Captain Marvel I have. It's just a cool cover. Gotten a real good deal from a guy named Charles. Don't actually know what his last name is, but off the top of my head. But I'll put it in the video in the description. But yeah, all the stuff that I'm going to show here for a little minute is from Charles. It's good stuff. Got a really good deal on some nice Golden Age / Atomic Age kind of stuff there. So anyway, there's the Captain Marvel Adventures, number 73. What's kind of going to be a little off the beaten path here is I've recently been getting into the Archie stuff, and I know that's like super ridiculous and super silly, but it's just kind of it's like the Americana thing. I like the old Archies, 50s and 40s. I even buy the 60s and 70s ones if I can get them cheap enough, like $1 a piece. But these are a little bit more expensive, although, again, a really, really good deal from Charles. I like the girls. I like Betty and Veronica a lot. I like the way they look in the old ones. It's just, I don't know, again, it's just a slice of Americana. There's something kind of sexy about them, I'm not even going to lie. So you'll notice most of the ones I got here all feature the girls, but this is actually probably the worst condition. You can see this one's kind of beat up. Oh, I don't know how good you can see. Again, I'm going to try to avoid too much glare here. But it's not in the greatest shape. But it's an old annual from the 50s. It's got that kind of iconic Archie look. I don't have any 40s Archies, unfortunately, but this is a good one. I always like the ones with the girls, like I said. I'm a Veronica guy. Betty's the one that I suppose everyone, she's the sweetheart or whatever, but I always liked Veronica, although a buddy of mine kind of pointed out that they're basically the same girl if you switch their haircuts, so we're not going to go into there. So here's another old Archie, another, kind of beat up, got a few scrapes and stuff, but these are pretty good looking for being in the 50s, man. I mean, these are 1955. This is like 3 years younger than my dad is, so, this is pretty old. It's made it this far. Hopefully, it'll maintain its condition while it's in my care. I just think it's super cool to think about the people who own this. You know, did a kid own this? Did this issue just never get purchased and it's kind of just been passed around from used store to used store? Like, what's the story? You know, you never know, but it's cool to think about those things. This one's in super good shape. Again, super good to me is like very fine. Maybe not even that. It's got some dings in the corner here, but I just, you know, I mean, stuff like 9.6, 9.8, I don't even buy that kind of stuff. It's just out of my price range. So something like this to me is real. I really like the quality of this. This looks great. It's a cool cover. It's got Elvis, you know, I believe Pat Boone. I'm not exactly sure who the Pat Betty's referring to there on that record is, but the one on the left, Veronica's got Elvis, and, you know, I'm an Elvis fan. So again, I'm a Veronica kind of guy. So real cool cover here. Just like these old Archies. This is probably my favorite right here. I don't know why. I just really like this one. This one's kind of, you know, edging back. I think this is the earliest one I got. It's still a 54, 55, so it's just the same age as the others. But it, I just really like this one. The old kind of witchy looking teacher. Anyway, so moving on. There are the Archies. Let me see what I got next. Nope, one more. Again, notice all of them at least have Betty and Veronica on the cover. I am not interested in reading about Archie and his pals, you know, if the girls aren't involved. And these are pretty cool, you know. I don't want to say they're like hilarious or anything. They're not funny necessarily, but they're cool to read. Again, it's just a time period that was gone before I came into this world, so this is kind of one of the only ways, you know, you can really get a glimpse of it, is kind of look at the stuff people used to check out in their time. Kind of jump to that real quick. Probably should have given that a better intro, but yeah, so there's one of the keys I picked up. First, Ghost Rider. Didn't get this from Charles. Got this from Tony Hines, Half Gringo Comics. Again, I bought some stuff from him. He's a guy I like to frequent. Real good dude, real good deals. He'll do you solid. So yeah, this is a nice Ghost Rider. Again, nice to me. Probably a 5. It's got some chipping on the sides, Marvel chipping, I guess. Although it's certainly not exclusive to Marvel Comics. But this is a cool one. I mean, for a black cover, to not have any real ugly, stress stains or stress lines or staining. I mean, the spine is like, I don't know, man. I don't want to say immaculate, but that spine is beautiful. I'll try to bring it a little bit closer. Hopefully the glare won't ruin it. I'll move it around to kind of highlight different areas. It's a nice copy, I think. It's probably one of the nicer 5s you'll ever see, you know. If somebody's, you know, that's the thing about comics. Someone's like, hey, man, I got a VG or, you know, a 4.0 or a VG Fine, a 5. And you're kind of like, this thing it's probably going to look raggedy. And, you know, maybe it's not. Maybe it'll be a good-looking copy that just has one too many chips to really be considered a 6.0, so you get that 5. It's a good-looking book. The centerfold's nice and tight. It's cool. It's one of those where the first appearance is right on the first cover, Marvel Spotlight 5. You open the cover, first page, there's Ghost Rider, boom. I was a Ghost Rider fan as a kid. Kind of not so much into Marvel these days, but there's a few Marvel characters I still dig, and, you know, Ghost Rider is one of them. So, cool deal here. Awesome pickup there from Tony Hines. The next one here, you know, I'd kind of be surprised, you know, if too many of you knew what this is, you know, unless you're like a vintage fan. This is actually the first Atom. Atom's not a character they really do much with anymore, and the reason I say I would be surprised if a lot of people know what this is, you know, obviously comic fans will, but, you know, this is a really undervalued book. This is the other key I picked up, Showcase 34. It's for Silver Age Atom, Ray Palmer, who, if I'm not mistaken, that's also the name of the guy who was the editor of Weird Tales. Maybe not. But I think it is. I think Ray Palmer is the name of the guy who did Weird Tales too, so maybe a little homage to him. But anyway, this is first Atom, Ray Palmer in the Silver Age. Again, just an undervalued book. He's one of the early members of the Justice League. He's kind of like the Ant-Man or Giant Man of the DC. A lot of people just don't pay it much mind, so I don't know. I'm not much of a speculator, but I think value-wise, this one's, you know, it's got some places it can go. I think this one's going up. It's like a VG copy here. It's got, you probably can't see it, but it's got a stress line right down the middle, a little bit of scuffing. This thing right here is actually scuff. It's in a perfect place, though. You can't really see it, or it kind of blends into the art of the book. A great looking book. I got this one. I did get this one from Charles, same guy I got the Archies from. This is just a super awesome one. I haven't read it or opened it. I mean, I opened it to check the, you know, the centerfold and make sure all the pages were there, but I haven't read it or anything, but I think Adam's cool, and again, I think him and Hawkman and Martian Manhunter, all these guys, I think they're all kind of undervalued right now, and I think, you know, if you're into those guys, you should get their first appearance as well. They're still reasonable. But anyway, so there it is, first Adam. So first Adam and first Ghost Rider were the keys I picked up. Got a couple Conans here, won't dwell on these. These were just a couple I needed. Almost done with the run, man. I'm almost done with the Conan run. I would threaten you with a video on Conan, but I'm not sure that more than like 2 people would watch that, so we'll see. This is just throwing a random issue in here, Ragman number 4 from the first series. This is just the last one I needed. I filled the run. Got this out of a dollar bin. Super cool to fill a run like that. So that's a cool thing. I didn't bang and board it yet. That's the cool thing about going to conventions is you can just, you know, find fun stuff in the dollar bins. Just the only Vampirella I picked up. My Vampirella video is like the bar none the best watch or the most watched video on my channel. So maybe I'll be cheeky and try to sneak Vampirella into every video or something, right? But this is just a cool cover. I like this painted style. They did this with a few Warrens. A few of the Creepies and Eries have this kind of like painted, almost like gray tone style cover. Although I don't think that's what this is. This is from the 80s though. This is just a Vampirella, or it's from 1980 actually. This is Vampirella number 86. Just a sweet cover, looking good condition. In talks with Tony about a Vampirella number 1. Not sure if I'm going to pull the trigger on it or not, but if I do, I'll be sure to show it to you guys. And the last thing is not actually something I got at the con. I've got that other stack of stuff there. This is just something I picked up right before the con. A lot of people ask me about the books that I have in the back of the videos here. It's this series here is the Chilling Archives of Horror Comics. This is the newest one they put out, Ghosts and Girls. This fella here, Craig Yo, I believe is responsible for this series. Super cool set of books. I'll do a whole series on these one day, but all those over there in the red tops, they're all part of the series of horror comic archives, and just great stuff. I just picked them up, so I thought I'd throw this in there. I'm probably going to call the video here, do a part 2, go through that stack there, and actually have a little bit more beyond that. So if you're interested, check it out. Probably no more keys from here on out. It'll just be like Silver Age filler and a couple other things. So probably less interesting, but you know, if you like comics, check it out. You might see something new. Thanks, guys.